So what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ty Wills, man. We here live with the legendary, the one, the only, my dog, Rich Regal, man.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be doing a few series like this.
Yes.
Diving into Rich Regal's career, life, and everything else in between. So on this segment, we're gonna start off with, how did you get into music?
Man, I don't think I got into music. I think music got into me. It grabbed me by accident. If I was going to explain it, I'm going to kind of skip forward a little bit past a little bit of the details that got me to the point where it was apparent that I was going to be doing music. And I had booked a Lil White from 3 6 Mafia in Lancaster, Ohio, where I had been doing some shows and stuff, throwing shows. And I booked a particular artist down there. He come down, did his set. We had a great show. It was the first time ever having a national hip-hop artist in Lancaster, Ohio, so that was kind of legendary for me. Plus, it was an artist I really looked up to growing up. So we brought this other artist to open up, and after doing research on this artist, I was like, hey, he's got a little bit of swag to him. I kind of like that. Well, he had a partner that he did music with named Zachariah Kane, and I was like, man, this dude is something else. Like, he's something different. So I kind of gravitated towards that and reached out, and, we just started networking. Next thing you know, they asked me to be their manager. Well, I had never been a manager. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I couldn't manage my own life. So we basically, at that time, we were getting highly intoxicated and going to shows, and I was just kind of doing the management thing. And they had come to me one day, and Zach actually was like, man, you ever think of rapping? I was like, man, I would like to get in the studio one time. I used to play around back in the day, whatnot. I was just goofing off because I liked hip hop. So I went up and I spit a freestyle, and I did a song called Get Buck that same day. And we took that song and I started performing it to open for them. And that was my way to get them on shows, because I had a name a little bit because of my tattoo studio. I'd been tattooing most of my life. So that's how I got my foot in the door doing that.
So hold on. So you went from, in a short span of time,
Very short span,
the promoter to the manager.
I was the DJ and the promoter.
Oh, go on. So the DJ, the promoter, the manager, then artist, opening act.
Yeah.
Now, was this like months in between? Was this weeks?
Honestly,
How fast
it was
this?
probably a year, maybe a year.
Okay, a year. Okay, cool.
In a year span, a lot of this all happened.
Okay. So now you opening up for them, and then what happens after that?
Well, then I started doing tattoos for them. Actually, Kane came to me and bought a tattoo from me, and I did the infamous Block O on his throat. Everybody knows him for that tattoo. That was the first one I'd done on him, and it became iconic. And reason why it became iconic was because he came to me and said, hey, look, you've been doing tattoos for us. Because after that, I just started loading them with tattoos because it fit their image. And as their manager, I wanted to, help create this image of these rappers. So I mean, rappers need tattoos. That's just,
so hold on,
for the most part. I know a
just,
guy that doesn't have money.
Let me just interject real quick. Okay, so one part that's kind of fascinating to me is this: a lot of people get into the rap game, and they get the big head, they get that fame. So to me, it's kind of out of the ordinary for you to still have them in your mind as the forefront.
Right.
And still thinking like, okay, all right, this is going to help them out, versus soon as you started rapping, just start thinking about yourself.
Right. Well, a lot of it was, at that time, I was just trying to promote my tattoo career, because I wasn't trying to be a rapper. I was just doing the opening act stuff and everything. That was just out of necessity, since I was there, and it was something fun for me to do. And I got to utilize my resources to put them on this pedestal. And we went on, it went on after that. We started getting a little serious when they came to me and they were like, hey, we're going to do this song. It's basically about your tattoo studio. It was a remix of a popular song at that time. And they asked me if I would want to put a verse on it. And I was like, absolutely. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've recorded these 2 little things and that's it. And we went and we recorded it literally in a closet on the west side of Columbus, south side of Columbus. And I knocked this verse out and we took and literally went and burnt our own CDs. And I had little labels that I just wanted it to look better than most of the rappers at that time were putting out, but we didn't have a budget at all. So we did what we could do and pressed up. It was like 500 CDs and went to the 4th of July celebration in Lancaster, Ohio, which was right down the street from my tattoo studio, and just started passing these out right about the same time that we were dropping the video. We shot a video. Like I said, this was the first time I had ever made a full song with anybody or even by myself, really. And then next thing you know, we're shooting a professional video. I didn't know what I was doing. But I was just doing it for fun. And like I said, to put my face with it a little bit, to build these guys up. I wanted to put these guys on a pedestal. They were doing it. They were hip. They were hype. And from putting them CDs out and just going out and going balls to the wall. I mean, there was nights where we'd do 3 shows in a night in the same city, and we would hit 3 shows. There was one night in particular, I remember we started off with a pizza joint, and there was like 3 people there, and it was just a small little pizza place. And then we went and done another show at a venue. There was quite a few people there, 50, 60 people there. And then we ended up it was called the Thirsty Whale at the time, and we did a competition at the end of the night that night. Our voices were gone. Basically, all we did was got as extremely intoxicated as we could and got on stage and yelled really loud and jumped around, and people loved it. And we talked about tattoos and showed our tattoos off.
Okay, so the song was a hit then.
Locally, yeah. Everybody, I mean, everywhere we went, in our market at that time, we weren't going much farther out of Central Ohio. But it was hitting here for sure. And then I was like, well, I mean, I guess I could be a rapper. This could be a thing. Like, people like this. I knew that I've always known I was a little bit different than the norm. And that's where I started to see it a little bit and seeing where I could take this difference that I have. Like, I don't know what the difference is. I'm just different. But I found, man, I could probably do something with this and do it a little bit different than everybody else has done it.
So if you look back on the early feelings of this, what was the big difference in the feeling versus promoting the show and being the person that first brought a big name act to Lancaster versus being on stage as the talent?
I never wanted to be on stage as the talent. Really, even to this day, that's not my goal per se, but I know it's my niche. Like I said, me being different, I have no problem being on stage, being in front of people, being the face. And that's all kind of progressed from having to be the face. Everybody wants the fame, but they don't want to put themselves out there. Or anybody that's ever performed on a stage knows that it's not easy to just go out there and perform a song that you wrote and hope that people like it. It's a very hard thing as an artist.
Definitely.
And I'm a very, I wouldn't say recluse, but I suffer with anxiety really bad. I can't even do parent-teacher conferences.
So right now, even after tons of tours, tons of videos, traveling, performing all over the world, you're still getting nervous at a parent-teacher conference?
Oh man, stuff like that. Like I had a breakdown last year that really opened my eyes to the anxiety. I didn't understand it before, but I had taken my wife to the bar to meet her friends, and she was like, "I want you to meet my friends and come in." And we pulled up in front of the bar. I was ready to go. It ain't no thing. I go in bars every night. I perform in these places. But this was in my hometown and stuff, and this is around people that, I don't know, I just have a feeling about people in my hometown. No offense to anybody in my hometown, but it was different. It's not the same. Like, when I go in to do a show, I feel like I'm in control. That stage is mine for that amount of time. So I can control the environment a little bit. With something like going into the bar and meeting my girlfriend's friends or my wife's friends, I literally broke down in the car. Tears in my eyes. I told her, I can't do this. I can't. And that actually happened twice within a couple months.
Anxiety is real, man.
So,
and I'm glad you kind of touched on this, because a lot of people assume because somebody can go on stage in front of 3 people or 3,000 or 3 million people that, oh man, if they can do that, sure they can handle beating somebody's friends. And a lot of artists also use the music and their talent as like a shield.
Absolutely.
And even though they're out on the stage in front of people, it is literally something to hide behind. But to the common person, that would seem like, oh man, this dude can get up and talk in front of people then, or
right.
Anything. But musicians do use the art as a shield.
I use humor. Like, you put me in a room and it's awkward, I'm probably going to crack a penis joke, or, something probably inappropriate, because it opens up the room. People are like, oh man, you get people laughing, the intensity and the anxiety goes away. True. Or at least is at bay. So it's definitely a crutch for me. I have to, I can't, if I walk in anywhere where it's not my setting, like I'll go to a family function, like a family reunion, and that's hard for me to do. Like, but it's different when I can kind of control my environment around me, at least. I know that these people are here to see a show. So I'm here to give you a show. This is my job. This is what I do. Yes, it's fun. I love my job. It's a lot of hard work, but I love my job. I'm blessed to be able to do what we do, but it ain't the easiest thing in the world.
So, like, I've also experienced situations like that, like, growing up performing and being in clubs as the performer for so long, and then getting kind of older in my life, and then now I'm in clubs for kind of just like entertainment purposes. It's not the same. And I found myself like, man, I don't want to go in the club as a regular person, and it may sound crazy, but just being transparent, it's like, if it ain't about me.
And it's not a conceited thing.
But when you're set up and people usher you into the front, yep, and you don't wait in line, and everything's about, are you okay? Do you need anything? And then people come to see you. When you go back as that regular person, it's just naturally like, man, what am I doing here? And I found myself like done with the club scene if I'm not working there.
I recently just had to kind of force myself out of my comfort zone and go back and do that. Was it last year, the year before? Doobie did the Faithfully Faded tour, and my son really wanted to see him live. And, me and Doobie are friends and all that. I could have very easily put that call in, walked right in the back gate. But we bought the tickets. We stood in line. I wanted to experience this, a showgoer experience with my son. So we did the whole thing. It was a magnificent show. It was everything. But then all that anxiety that I was talking about earlier really started to come about after that. Not because of that or anything, but just after that time period. And recently I went to see an artist that I've known since the very beginning, when there was 10 people at the show, and now he's selling out arenas at 25,000 people, and I went as a common fan to go, and it ended up being more than that. Obviously a lot of people recognized us while we were there, and, taking a lot of pictures and autographs and stuff, but it was really, really awesome to sit and just watch and soak it all in and be a fan for once. But I get what you're saying. It's hard to do that. Like, even there, I have to put my jewelry on. I have to do all that on a normal day-to-day basis. I'm just wearing sweatpants to work. I don't have to do that. But even though I was going as a common fan, I couldn't. because I'm in this position where everybody expects me to always look this way, act this way, be the entertainer, crack jokes.
And you know what's so crazy? Even if people don't expect that from us, we think they do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. It's another thing that this is just another side effect. Man, when you're in a life like this and a world like this, it's hard to turn it off, and it's hard to separate it. So even on our level, it's just hard to be
human.
Exactly.
It's sometimes, and I know you're not complaining, and I'm not complaining about it. We understand that this is part of it, but sometimes it's nice to just be human. But at the same time, it's hard mentally to just be human now. And I don't want to say that we're not regular people, because we are. I know you personally, and you know me personally. We are regular people.
Regular as hell.
What you see is what you get. It's not a made up facade. It's just a lot of times I don't want to entertain. I want to grab my eggs and milk and go home, but it's part of the job.
Yeah.
So like like you said, a lot of times people don't care, and we think they do. And the one time that we think that they don't and we slip,
that's the time they do.
That's the time they care. Whatever you're in life, whatever your niche is in life, you have to understand everything that comes with whatever it is. And in this world, there's a lot of baggage. And that's why I give a lot of recognition to our families and our friends, and because our families and our friends are the ones that feel it the most, because we have to be doing this all the time. We have to be who we are.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's hard to turn it off. I go home every night and I tell myself, I'm going to put my phone down. I ain't going to touch it. I'm not going to be Rich Regal tonight. And my old lady gets on me all the time. She's like, I need you to be rich, not Rich Regal. Like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. It's two different things, but it's the same person. It's just Rich Regal is the one that always answers the phone, always answers those messages when a fan hits me up, is always doing a video about what I'm doing. Sometimes, almost every night, I'm like, I'm going to put my phone down. I'm not going to do that. And it's hard to separate that. I'll be sitting right there talking with the old lady and be like, oh, hold on, babe. This is important. And I catch myself doing that sometimes. I'm like, stop it. Recently, I pay a lot more attention to that.
A lot of people really don't talk about this side, because, what I'm saying, we're the one that you see. You the one on stage. You the one on the flyer. You the one on the ticket. Your wife and kids ain't on the ticket. Right. But they are just as affected as if they were a part of the show also.
Absolutely.
So we'll get into that next time, man. So once again, got my dog, Rich Regal. We're going to be doing a bunch of series like this coming soon. So stay tuned. Make sure y'all follow, man. Tap in with my dog. Make sure I tap into the Tattoo Studio, Modified Studios, Stay Beat Studios. And like I said, we out, man. It's your boy, Ty Wills. And like always, stay beat or stay broke.
Yeah.